Advertise with the ambassador's pen and get your message heard all over the world. The Ambassador's Pen is the fastest growing diplomatic magazine on the planet, with subscribers and readers internationally. Constant marketing, daily promotion will ensure that your products and services get the best attention for your dollar. Starting from only $100. Yes, you can advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. Get a half page, get a full page, or even a spread. We can embed your video into the digital magazine. Do you want your business to be recognized internationally? Advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. For more information, email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The Ambassador's Pen. Beautiful. Give thanks continually for such words. Now, let me remind each and every one who is definitely interested in the upcoming Christmas tour in December going into January 2026 in Ethiopia. Remember that we would have extended that deadline for the 50% off. So for sure, that will come to an end officially on the 13th of October. Of course, you know, we had it until the 1st of October, and we are so thankful for those who would have reached out, and we would have definitely seen that there is a strong interest, and we're here to work with everyone. So I'm very thankful again. We would have extended the 50% off as it relates to that tour. And of course, that is now only $1,200. You know, the fullness of the tour. As we said, it's from Addis Ababa to the south. We will be going into basically almost all the museums. Well, not all, because there's so many. The palaces, the parks, and Toto Park, and of course Unity Park, and again the different palaces and museums, the Science Museum, and of course the visit to Shashamani, and the whole full 9 yards. And again, those who would have already received their itinerary, we're thankful. So we are extending the deadline. I will speak a bit more about this in the program, but we are extending the deadline again from the 1st of October to the 13th of October. I prefer to say the ceiling date, but no one is going to die here. And of course, it's the lifeline. And again, Royal Family, all you have to do is email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com, to make such payments, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. But I will give you more information as we go along. Now, before we begin, let me be clear. This is officially a fundraiser event, fundraiser lecture. This is a Tigers Temple presentation. So what we are doing, we are offering the royal family. It is up to you. You can use the goodwill of your heart and make a donation to the lecture, just as when we give lectures internationally or even webinars online, and we definitely give a fee, but there's no fee here. We ask that you make the donation from the goodness of your heart. If you think you need to wait until the lecture is done to make that decision. It is up to you. But for sure, I know there are many of you, obviously, who understand the value of what is coming now. Believe me, we're going to go deep. In fact, let me encourage you to make sure you're comfortable. Make sure you have all your snacks and your drinks and all that stuff. Make sure you have your meditation. To be honest, you should be blazing already. And we're definitely going to have a wonderful sit down. And let me be clear, when you make your donation, whatever it may be, we have a special offer for you, which I will speak of more in the program upcoming. In fact, no, let me speak of it now so you clearly understand where you're going. So whatever donation you make this evening, whatever it may be, you understand, whether it's 10, 20, 30, whatever, you will get a copy of my first little tiger talking book. And if you don't know what it is, we will show you a bit of that when we seal up the program this evening. And that is for whatever contribution you make to this lecture. But those who contribute 20 and more, I will still give you the value of your contribution in Tiger's Nest programs. So as you all know, the monthly subscription for the Tiger's Nest program is $20. So if you say to yourself, I like the lecture, I'm going to donate a $20. It's worth a $20 lecture. Fair enough. I will make sure you get the evening program, the audio version of the Tiger's Nest, which comes out daily, and you'll get it in your email for as long as the $20 would last. Even though it's a donation, we'll give it that back. If you were to give your donation of $150, that will entitle you to a full year's subscription of the Tiger's Nest. You may try to do the math, but that don't add up. Yeah, of course. The fact is that the more time you take to subscribe in the Tiger's Nest, of course, you get a better economical offer, if you understand. So remember, you can utilize the different apps, PayPal, Zelle, or Zelle, Cashapp, whatever the case is. And you also can utilize the Western Union, MoneyGram. Everything can be done digitally. And of course, the main apps, you utilize the email, priestisaacinstitute at gmail.com. But again, we will get more into that as we go into the program. We definitely want to hit this one off. Now, where we are going again this evening, we are speaking about the presence of the Black nation, the African nation within the establishment, not just of the dynastic periods in China, but just the population, the populace of that world or that region of the world is of an African stock. Now, some people tend to believe that we're just here trying to make everything look black and trying to make everything African. Believe me, not at all. In fact, there are things that you definitely would not attach the African civilization to. But what I'm trying to show you, when it comes to humanity, the origin of even different individuals, somewhere along the line, the Black man and the Black woman is at the root of it. And that is just natural science. Now, what we know, and we're going to use the evidence this evening. And when we say the evidence, we are dealing with, obviously, artwork. We're going to deal with archaeological discoveries. We're going to deal with language. We're going to deal with geography and even modern day photographs to prove our point as it relates to our presence in the ancient Asian world. So we are looking at a sculpture that is coming from the time of the Xia or the Shang Dynasty in China. And we're talking about at least 2205 BCE. You could obviously see that you have African features there, even the whole structure of the hair, again, coming from the very same time period. You can also observe that we are dealing not with necessarily the modern day Chinese that you know, but of course something with a more African resemblance to it. Now, what I would like to do is to read some information for you to begin with here. And this is actually coming from Lost Feather, the Black Chinese, lostfeather.weebly Weebly.com/Black Chinese. And it says here, yes, there were indeed blacks in ancient China. The skeletal remains from southern China are predominantly Negroid. The people practice single burials, which is an African ritual. In modern China, the blacks founded many civilizations. The three major empires of China were the Xia Dynasty, 2205 BC, the Shang, the Yin Dynasty, 700 BC, and the Zhou Dynasty. And it goes on to say the Zhou Dynasty was the first dynasty founded by the Mongoloid people in China called Hua, pronounced, well, Hua. The founders of the Xia and Shang came from the fertile African Crescent by the way of Iran. Let me repeat this. So it says here, the founders of the Xia and Shang dynasty came from the fertile African Crescent by the way of Iran. Chinese civilization began along the Yellow River. And of course, this is something, again, many know. Here, the soil was fertile, and Black Chinese farmers grew millet 4,000 years ago, and later soybeans. They also raised pigs and cattle. By 3,500 BCE, the blacks in China were raising silkworms and making silk, and the silkworm is a caterpillar, by the way. The culture hero, Huandi, is a direct link to African. We would have highlighted him in other lectures that we would have done. His name was pronounced in old China as Yuhai Huandi or Hu Nak Kunte. And of course, Kunte obviously is African without a doubt. So you can see for sure he was supposed to have arrived in China from the West in 2282 BCE. And again, you can see for sure this is not only the conscious community's history, you know, this is documented history coming from the archives of research. Of course, you have authors like Godfrey Higgins, which highlight similar information for you. You have even Gerald Massey, individuals that speak about the presence of the blacks in Asia. And these are Europeans, you know, that I'm speaking about. And then you have our own brother, not a European brother, Ronoko Roshidi, which would have gone on to the ancestors. I think he would have stood out as the individual that would have documented the presence of the Africans in Asia more than anyone else. Now, just to add a quick aspect of science to this discussion, there's a specific professor by the name of Professor Jing Li, and he would have made headlines a few years ago. He's from Fudan University, and he brought to the forefront, without a doubt, using genealogical research to prove that the Asian people, Chinese, Japanese, etc., were from an African ancestry. And this is an article entitled The African Origins of China, the Genographic Project, and this is from 2023, the 9th of May. The Genographic Project was founded on the 13th of April 2005 by the National Geographic Society and IBM. It was a genetic anthropological study that aimed to map historical human migration patterns by collecting and analyzing DNA samples. Very important, the whole aspect of mapping the migration patterns. Professor Jin Lee, this is who we're speaking of from Fudan University, Professor Jin Lee at the National Human Genome Center and currently the president of Fudan's University in Shanghai, has been credited as the principal investigator of East Asian populations for the Genographic Project and the leading proponent of the model of recent African origin of modern humans. He is the leading proponent because years ago he came out clarifying to the world that the Chinese, although he thought that they came from Peking man, I'm sure those of you who study anthropology, you know of Peking man. He was the individual that was credited for being the oldest ancestor of the Oriental people. But Professor Jin Lee said, no, something's wrong here. It is said that his research presented evidence that the majority of the gene pools in China originated from Africa. You understand? So again, we are bringing scientific evidence to the front line. Now, yes, it's good to look at a statue or two. It's good to see that, yeah, man, that looks like an ancient black man, again, the Shang Dynasty. But then Shang, where did the term Shang really come from? We're going to even utilize the evidence of language now to prove to you that when you speak about the Shang people, you're talking about the people from Nigeria. When you speak of the Oriental people, yes, you are highlighting the San people. You're also highlighting the Twa, the Pata people, what they refer to as the Pygmies. Take a look at this. This is coming from, where do you think this statue here is coming from? Somebody said Nigeria? No. And if it was coming from Nigeria, not directly, this was found in China. This is coming again from the Zhou Dynasty. And this is clearly, obviously, an African specimen that we are looking at here. So we are sure, without any shadow of a doubt, that the Black presence in China is nothing to debate. This is one of the ancient caves you find in China, the Mogawa cave or Mogao cave. You have the Mogao cave, you have the Yulin grottos. These caves and grottos highlight again, without a doubt, the presence of the African stock. So there you have the ancient warrior riding on his horse. In fact, you have some beautiful images here. The seven riders, I think they call this mural, the seven riders, which obviously you could see that these riders are highlighted as saints with the halo around their head. So you could see the angle that the people would have seen these mighty warriors in. And again, you must understand, and what the artwork will prove, is that we're not speaking of a case where it was just Black people inhabiting the area. Before we go to the evidence to prove that, this is another painting within the very same Mogao cave that is in China, also coming from the very same cave. And then you have in the Unhang cave. You have it's spelled with a D, by the way, like Dung Hang, but I hear it pronounced Hang from the Chinese themselves. You could actually see the individuals standing around the great Buddha. Here you also have in the same cave the statues of ancient saints, even the replica of the Buddha himself. And you can obviously see the difference in complexion when it comes to, let's use the term, the star of the show, and maybe the others that are venerating him. And then now, I mean, look at this now. This is coming from the Yuling Grotto. And within this, you can clearly see that those around the master are not necessarily of the same ethnic type. Now, if you observe, oh my, this one is ridiculous, really. You can see how black this rendition of the Buddha figure is, the holy figure is, in comparison to those around him. And again, this is just to highlight with rational understanding that when you see China and Japan and Mongolia and these places today, you must understand that the history that goes back thousands of years really began with the Africans. I mean, we are a people that have been robbed and spoiled. We are a people who have forgotten who we are. Just as the scripture says, make the name of Israel no more amongst anyone, no more amongst their tongue. Not because you hear people talking about so-called Israel today. The job has been well done according to the scripture. The people who are the true lights, the true is real, shining, melanated, seven-color lights. These are the people who have totally forgotten who they are, where they're from, what's their name, what's their language, their culture, everything about who they really are. It has been erased. We've been seriously brain scrubbed to the point that, all of our vital thinking has been scrubbed out. That's really what it is. So when you bring subjects like this to the forefront, there are those who say, oh, can't we all just get along? What you talking about? What you talking about? Oh, I mean, we don't have to divide ourselves from anyone. Nobody divided themselves from no one. There are many people of European descent that are right-thinking people that enjoy and full joy and delight in this information here. You understand? Because this is about the truth. This ain't about color, It's about the truth. And again, the people who have been robbed and spoiled of the knowledge of themselves, they need to be awakened. And it's information like this that awakens people, make people understand who they are, give you pride and courage and say, okay, that's me. That's where I'm coming from. I did that. Of course, you understand. As I heard a great one said already, if you were to take a picture of a group of people and then you develop it and hand it out to each and everyone is going to look to see themselves in the picture first. So when you give people education, a syllabus, a curriculum, a very syllabus, and carry and kill because is God. When you give a people a system of education that does not have them in the picture, you could imagine the outcome. In fact, you don't have to imagine the outcome. That's the outcome that we see daily. You comprehend. So here you have again, this is from the Yulin Grotto, one of the grottos in Yulin. And of course, all of this is in China, showing you the ancient depiction, somewhat of a theological depiction too, the holy saints. But you can see the chief saint is a black man. The chief saint is a black man. And black people amongst other people. Because what I want you to keep in mind also as we go through this lecture here, we're not speaking of the black man just leaving Africa and going into China, and maybe an ice age hit him, and then Chinese people came out because the San people look like them. No, no, we're dealing with this on a deeper level. I just read for you the scientific outlook of all of this. Now, I'm going to go into some more information to highlight that it was several migrations that took place out of Africa. We are a moving people. This is not the Grimaldi man story that went into Europe and the womb glacier hit him, and then there was the Caucasian or the Cro-Magnon man. No, this is a bit more than that. This is what I'm saying. So, yes, there was a time where we would have gone into that region of the world and nobody was there. No one was there. I'm getting to that soon. Then there's a time when we left our motherland. We went through Iran and we did things in Iran as well, and India, of course, which is called Eastern Ethiopia. And then we found our way into China and we met people there. We met ourselves there and other ethnic groups there. And we're talking about different stages in time. So the Twa people went there. They're some of the earliest blacks to go into that region called China, the Twa. And then you have, of course, the San people went up. We're going to show you all of this in a moment. And then the Nigerians went over and added to the lingua, and many ones consider that they were the individuals that really started the dynastic periods. All right. So what I'm going to highlight now, we just began, eh? If you're just coming in, give thanks for coming in. And of course, all you have to do, well, not all, you have many things you have to do, but some of the simplest things you can do is to like what you see, as they say, to press the thumbs up button, and of course, to share. If you could share this with at least 5 people, in fact, more 500 people, I should say, share it on your email list, share it on your WhatsApp feed, put the link to the video in your WhatsApp, what you call it, reel. So when everyone sees it, they press it and get the same joy that you're getting here, and share the link on Facebook and share it on X and share it on Y and share it on TikTok and all of these stuff. Share it on Instagram because it is information that individuals would definitely want and need to hear and see. So we're looking at obviously 18th century, 19th century pictures here of Black Chinese, not just Oriental people, I'm highlighting Chinese. So I think we all understand when you go to Java and these places here in the Philippines and so forth, Indonesia and these places, the Pacific Islands, you obviously see a different complexion as it relates to the Oriental people, what is referred to as the people from the Orient, with the same eye structure, but darker skin and a little more stronger here. So without a doubt, you can see the quote unquote evolution that anthropology, really, the study of anthropology really highlights. According to anthropology, it's really an evolution thing. It's not as if God created the Chinese man and God created the European man and God created the African man. So if there is a God created man, really it was the African man. I know we like to say, well, remember God created the black man and the white man and the red man. Okay, hey, listen, you must understand that the universe is God. And the whole process, even of evolution, is a creational process. So you're not getting no argument from me with that. But if you're going to come down nitty gritty and try to say, well, God created a man and a woman, well, the man and the woman cannot be a Chinese and a Japanese and a black man and a white woman. And I mean, at least they have to be maybe two races. And more than likely, they were the same race. once that's the narrative you're following, eh? Because sometimes when we hear the truth, we get defensive, our beliefs get in the way of truth. It's obvious. You see the family around the table, sharing, breaking bread really, or using their chopsticks to pick up whatever it is that they're eating. And obviously you could see the Negroid presence or the black presence here, and yet still a paler presence of the Chinese or Oriental individuals, without a doubt. But at the same time, features are very similar. And again, these are photographs, This is not from the cave. This is not murals or paintings. We are looking at actual photographs. Now, of course, many of you know that the pyramids that are in China, a few of them have been basically unearthed as such and highlighted, but there are many pyramids in China that have been purposely kept undercover. In fact, what they would have done, they would have purposely left the pyramids as what they would have become mounds, because mounds are very popular even in the south of the United States. Turtle Island mounds are very popular in the sense that you have pyramids and pyramidal sort of structures, which over time and erosion to some degree, they would have become like mountains or hills. They would have developed like layers of dirt, yes, soil, and vegetation would have even started to grow around them. But from our research, there is a purposeful mission afoot to keep these Chinese pyramids not only as hills, but hills with forests. So the planting of the trees campaign is something that is done in China to make sure that these pyramids are left undiscovered as such, or nobody really going to them to see what's really happening. Now you may say, how are you so sure of that? Now keep in mind, family, even in this modern day time, using sonar technology and other levels of modern technology, pyramids have been discovered under the surface of the earth in the very same China. I'm not speaking of the mounds that we know their pyramids under. I'm talking about pyramids that have not even seen the light of day. But their China, with its finance and whatever else it has and its capabilities, they purposely are keeping that undercover. And okay, let's put it this way. If we were to spend some money, get the billions, and let's get under these hills, what do you feel we will discover? We will discover what we already discovered already. Keep in mind, royal family, I would have done a program where we were highlighting the statues, the clay statues, the terracotta statues, of course, in ancient China. Now, these are well known. Everyone knows of these statues, or maybe not everyone, but most ones know of the terracotta statues, clay statues that have been found under these very same mounds underground. And we're talking about thousands of clay warriors and horses with weapons in fighting formation, etc., etc. If you do not know this history, this is in China. Now, interesting, it really highlights the Black presence. So you could imagine how many other things are buried under the surface in China that resembles us, that highlights the Black presence in China. And maybe, just maybe, the Chinese establishment doesn't really want people to understand that there was a strong black presence here. Now it's already out of the bag, but most of us are not aware of it. But the knowledge, the information is there. That's why we're sharing it to you. Remember, Vladimir Putin went into the vault the other day and he came out with the Black Christ, the photograph, the picture of the Black Christ, and the whole world blew up as if we didn't know that in Russia and Ukraine and places of that sort, you do have the Black Madonna and Child. In fact, they have some of the blackest Madonnas and the little baby Christ that you can find anywhere. They're blacker than the expression that you see in Ethiopia today for sure. You hardly go anywhere in Africa and see the black Madonna and Child like the Madonna and Child you see in Russia. So even when Vladimir came out and said what he said, I mean, I think we should have known all of that already. But anyway, the point I'm making here is that there may be some campaign to, hey, let's keep this thing quiet for a while. We don't want nobody to know about it. So let me just highlight this here for you, royal family. This is coming from, let me get this now. This is the archaeologist.org. It's a blog, Chinese Mysterious Pyramids. And it says here, China's mysterious 8,000-year-old structure guarded by the military could hold key secrets. Like what? And this is in June 2022, the 22nd of June, by the way, 2022, all the twos there. More than 1,000 kilometers outside the ancient city of Xi'an, among the overgrown forests, rise scores of pyramid-shaped mounds that have been shrouded in mystery for thousands of years. The West learned about them when Fred Meyer Schroeder, an American trader, first reported the enigma in 1912. At the time, he was traveling through the Shanxi province with a guide, where he recorded a thorough description in his diary, noted he had seen one giant pyramid approximately 1,000 feet tall and nearly twice the size in length, surrounded by a number of smaller pyramids. Fast forward 3 decades, and U.S. Air Force pilot James Gussman would be left mesmerized by the pure white structure spotted while flying over Asia, said to be twice the size of the Great Pyramid of Egypt. They say that all the time. He said, the remarkable thing was the capstone, a huge piece of jewel-like material that could have been crystal. The point is, royal family, the pyramids are there. You have individuals from 1912, you have individuals from 1940 something who flew over, military personnel who flew over the pyramid before it was covered with trees. Explaining to you, I'm looking at a white structure here with a capstone that is dazzling. You comprehend. And again, there are several of these pyramids that are in China. Some have been already identified as pyramids. That's why they have them as tourist site. But let's leave it at that. We ain't digging up no more. Yes, we found the terracotta statues, but that's enough. You have thousands of them. You want more? Yeah, because there are millions of them under the earth. Listen to the headline, Chinese mysterious 8,000-year-old structure guarded by the military could hold key secrets. So again, the terracotta statues. The terracotta statues look very similar in some ways to the Nak statues. The Nak statues, what you talking about? The Nak statues are terracotta statues too. And what's interesting about the Nak statues now, look at the formation of the eyes. Huh? What you're trying to say, the Nak people are the Chinese people? There may be some connection. I just explained. Hold on, before you explain, yes? Who are the Nak people? Oh, you're correct. Maybe we should begin there so at least we can follow this thing properly. Because you see, again, royal family, what we are doing here, we're bringing to light the connection once more between ancient Africa and the civilization of primarily China, but to an extension, with an extension to the Oriental world, Asia in general, I would say, Iran, Iraq, all of that in it, the Middle East, because it was a migration. That's how we began the program, with that whole process of migration. Very good. Did I remind you to share the video, share it and like it, and what else? The whole thing, subscribe, the whole works. Make sure that you do it. And keep in mind, Royal Family, this is a contribution fundraiser lecture. So those who want to give a free will contribution towards the lecture, we have made that available. Please feel free to do so, and we will give you some more information as it relates to that. So obviously, look at the pyramids in China, and look how they align to with the great pyramids of ancient Kemet, the great pyramids of Giza. I don't have to take time to go into the pyramids of Giza. I think most of us know exactly what's going on there. So again, the Nak people, and this is where it's getting juicy. The Nak kingdom is in Nigeria. But listen to me, good family. You see, Nigeria is one of those examples of a state that is not really a state. You understand? Do you know within Nigeria, you have the Niger people and you still have Niger as a country? Just like you have the country of Benin, but Benin City is in Nigeria. It's different than Benin, the country. These are one people family. Nigeria itself is full of all kind of things. It's more than Hausa and what you call it, Hausa and Igbo and Fulani and all of that. You have the Ham and some different sort of people there. You have the Shanga people. Some call them the Shango people. And the Shanga people is said to have a strong connection to the ancient Chinese people, specifically the Shang Dynasty. So obviously we've gone into the language here now. Let's just recap this quickly. The Nak statues, and how similar they are to the terracotta statues. Now, yes, the terracotta statues are warriors dressed in military garb with weapons and horses. The Nak statues are not necessarily that, obviously. But what I'm highlighting is that, first of all, they're both terracotta statues, clay statues. And here we see the features being highlighted within the whole aspect of ancient Nigeria, the Nak people, and the features, obviously, of the ancient Chinese. Good. So also, within the area of the Songhai or the Shanghai Empire, because the Songhai is the same Shang. You think we played here? The Shanga, follow me good, The Shanga people of Nigeria. And this is why I highlighted that Nigeria is more than just Nigeria. And you have to take into consideration the whole region when you speak about these people. You cannot just highlight one and leave out the other. That's why, again, you may think that the Benin kingdom is Benin or the kingdom of Benin, where, for example, the bronze statues were returned to the other day. That's in Nigeria. You have a whole people in Nigeria known as the Niger people, but Niger is a next city or next state by itself. So colonialism, family, that's the point, is really what divided the people and brought in the lines and made them different countries and ethnicities and tribes that cover borders between tribes, Ghana and what's the other place, Togo, English and French, same tribe of people, eh? All right, fair enough. Good. Now, when we observe again, even within the language royal family, you have in the Shang language or the Shanga people, you have words that are very similar to the Chinese language from the Chinese people, specifically what is known as Mandarin. So, for example, in the Nigerian Shanga language, the Shanga people, you have what is known as, for example, the word for floor is debe, which in Mandarin, the word for floor is deban. You get that? And then now in the Shanga language, I'm speaking of Nigeria, you have the word for husband is Zhang, where the word in Mandarin is very similar, Zhang. Then, of course, in Shanga, you have, for example, the word for wind. The word for wind is Seng, while the word for wind in Mandarin is Feng. The word for nine in the Shang or the Shanga or the Charanga people is Kunubok, while the word for nine in Mandarin is simply Ku. Some say Kunu. But the point is that you can see the similarity in the words and just Shanga, the Shang Dynasty. The Shang Dynasty is that ancient dynasty that we all speak about when we highlight the anciency of the black people in China. The Xia Dynasty and the Shang Dynasty and the Zhou Dynasty. But we are saying again that we have strong evidence that the Shang Dynasty is connected to the Shang people of that region. And I'm talking of Nigeria, or the Shanga people. For example, there are words that are used even in the language. The first capital of the Shang dynasty in China is Anyang. Anyang. It's spelled Anyang. Anyang. And Anyang is a word that is still deeply used amongst the Shanga people in Nigeria. The Nak statues, the terracotta statues, the Shang dynasty, the Shanga people. And then the Songhai is Shanghai. The Songhai is Shanghai. And this is why we highlighted again. That is why we gave you evidence of people leaving different parts of Africa at different times, going into the area that is known as China. Very good. So when you understand this now, family, because we're going to go deeper now, because I know many ones are looking to hear about, for example, the San people. Again, you know, we utilize that a lot, the whole aspect of the San people, because of how their eyes are. And that is true. But we need to be able to go deeper than that. Let me read something here for you. This is coming from um, uh, quite thrillworldwide.wordpress.com. And it says here, speaking of the ancient Black Chinese, the Blacks of China were known in the historical literature by many names, including Negroid, Australoid, Ocean, etc. by the Europeans. The East Indians and Mongoloid groups had other names for these blacks, such as Dara, Yinikchi, Yakshai, Suka, and Kunun Lun. Sounds like um, um, you know what I'm talking about? The god, the ancient African god, Unkulunkulu, Kuun and Lushana, and Scythians and the Scythians. Okay, very good. The original black population that lived in China was the Negroids and the Australoid groups. After 5000 BC, Afrocoid people from Kush in Africa began to enter China and Central Asia from Iran, while other groups reached China by sea. This two-route migration, hear that? This two-route migration, not one migration, not one people leave, two routes they highlight. This two-route migration of blacks to China led to the development of southern and northern Chinese branches of Africoid. So it's not just a case of just the south, but also in the north. And even within this article, it highlights the northern China, southern China, and even the culture of the mounds that we were highlighting. Let me just move a bit faster here for you. Now, this article highlights that the migration process began somewhere around, look at this, 50 to 45,000 years BCE. 50 to 45,000 years BCE. The Shang Dynasty is 2205 BCE. So again, we are highlighting that there are several migration patterns here. And we're going to prove now that the ancient Africans, again, would have begun their migration from the time of the original people, the Twa, and of course the San. We already highlighted the similarities between the Nigerian and the Chinese, and we're going to prove the Ethiopians' involvement as well. Keep in mind, I would have highlighted in some other documentaries. Take a look at the Japanese sounding words in Uganda, Narasaki and Karosaki and these things, because we are the originator of such. All right. Yes, royal family, what I want you to do, just give yourself a little shake and stretch, because some heavy information is coming here now. And what I would like you also to do is to just remember that this is a fundraiser online lecture that we are doing. As you know, we do international lectures, of course, even webinars and seminars. And this is in the light of these webinars and seminars. So we are freely opening the door to you to make a donation or contribution towards the specific activities this evening here. And we have some special offers for those of you who will be contributing. I will tell you about that right now, but before that, don't go anywhere. Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south, plus the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there. Royal family, we just completed a very successful tour to Ethiopia, all a part of the mission to Ethiopia. As you know, we are still on the fact-finding aspect of our mission here in Ethiopia. The tour aspect of it was in the earlier parts of the mission, and we would have visited all of these sites that we are advertising in the upcoming tour. This is not our inaugural flight. In fact, being on the ground, we have a better understanding of exactly how to maneuver. Even ones who criticize with very little understanding what we're doing, talking about repatriation. This is repatriation. Many ones have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. I have to get a little personal now. As I would have said before, I come to do the work of Christ. I don't know what another person come to do. You have to know what you have been given as your marching orders. You know, we don't really get together. We don't really collaborate like we should. So we don't really share battle plans anymore, or the way that we should as a Rastafari community or as a conscious community. So we can't wait on others to give us orders. We got to move. So we know what we have been asked to do by the higher realms. And I'm telling you, this is a part of the repatriation mission. Many ones would have reached out, and let me say those who have reached out that I have not responded to as yet. I will be responding in very short order. Don't worry, everything is quite well. And ones have been clearly saying, "Wow, this is a very inexpensive tour." You understand? And this is why we even extended it, because in reality, although it's inexpensive, it still costs, and there's a lot that we have to put into it just for your security and everything. There's a lot, we have already done the budget. So even at the 50% at 1,200, it is really a so-called good deal. And in reality, outside of your airplane fare, because we don't have an airplane, an airline as yet, but outside of your airplane fare, we handle everything else. You heard it in the ad. For sure. And in fact, even booking your flights, we can assist with that as far as getting you maybe the so-called cheapest flights or the best flights, Although I don't really like them cheapest flight things, carrying you all over the world and making your flight 3 times longer than or your trip 3 times longer than it should be, But for sure, Royal Family, as I said, as you know, I'm on the ground. I don't think it can get no better than that. You understand? We already know how to logistically move through what we have showed to you. And at the same time, as you would have said, many of you, it is definitely a very economical package. Now, keep in mind, family, there's a 50% down payment. So I want you to get that good. You're already getting 50% off until the 13th of October, by the way. Let me remind you. Yes, oh my, let me remind you. I know the ad said the 1st of October. Somebody may be watching this and say, wait, this is some long time stuff. No, no, no. The ad really did say the 1st of October, but we would have extended it. Those who really stay close to us, you know that. We would have extended the 50% off until the 13th of October, which is maybe, I think, in about 3 or so more days, so we would have extended that 50% offer. And keep in mind, there is you don't pay at least 50%. So in other words, for starters, $600 will secure your spot until you come with the other 50%. So not because the 13th of October would have passed now, that doesn't mean that your the price would have changed for you. Those of you who will pay your down payment, I want you to get me good, eh? The package is at 50% off right now. $1,200 is the package for anyone who wants to book their tour now. And to book your tour, you have to at least down pay 50% of the price. Your price is 1,200. And next person's price 2 months from now may be 2,400. And they will have to down pay 50%. So your price is 1,200, the down payment is 600, or you could pay all, for sure to secure yourself. It is up to you. And you would definitely be ahead of the game as it relates to full joy in this 10-day activities with us, or 10 days, whatever it is, worth of activities. And believe me, it's going to be beautiful. The sites, the parks, the palaces, the trip to the south, or the venture to the south, Shashamani, the hot springs. Yeah, I'm telling you. And the museums and all the information and the color and the people and the peaceful nature of Ethiopia, it's definitely going to be a blast. So I'm looking forward to each and every one that will be here with us. Again, payments can easily be made via the PayPal and the Zelle and the Cashapp. Give thanks for those who would have supported the previous tour, those who came with us, even those who we met here, who would have linked with us. Listen, the whole activity was so nice. We met the brothers even from the Seychelles Islands, who reached out to us to be on the tour with us, the brothers and the sister, I should say. Of course, the family from the Moorish Science Temple of America, who was with us for our tour, as well as the summits, both summits, the CARICOM, African Union CARICOM Summit, plus the African Climate Summit. So a lot took place and it was beautiful, and we're doing it again, and definitely on a higher level, security, accommodations, everything. So you could reach out to us for more information. I would send you the itinerary. And of course, again, payments are very easily done. This is the same mode that you would use for those who will be making their donations tonight. You can use the PayPal, the Zelle, and the Cash App, priestisaacinstitute at gmail.com. So again, before we get into the lecture, this is a fundraiser event. So it is an online lecture, somewhat of a webinar. As you know, we do webinars specifically to different, societies, clubs, university, you name it, we do it. And we would have brought one of these presentations to the family here. So at the same time, of course, it's free. You ain't have to pay a thing. But it's not about what you have to do, it's where your heart is. That's really what I'm dealing with. I mean, I consider that we're supposed to be a community. I refer to you people as my tribe. So I expect us to work together. And I know many of you listening, you definitely obviously see the information that is coming, and you know what we're doing. You know what we do. You know the hearts we touch. You know this is a genuine work. Every aspect of what we do is genuine. So again, I'm reaching out to those of you who have that understanding. Of course, you could make your donation by utilizing the email and what I just showed to you. But listen to this. When you donate tonight, as I was telling you earlier, just give me a little time. I need to show this to you. This is very important. When you make your donation tonight, whatever it is, whatever, if you donate $5, 10, you can do a little better than that, but give thanks, 20, whatever. I will be sending you my first little tiger talking book. Now, do you remember this book? This was designed for the young children or anyone really Now, of course, we are not encouraging you to take your device and put it in your child's hand, whatever the case is, just so that they can be quiet. No. But many of you do that, by the way. In fact, your children have their own tablets. Some of your children have their own little laptops. And the child is still learning to count. The child is still learning the language, etc., etc. What the little tiger talking book does, it's a flip book. Simple. Just like the magazine. And when you flip it, what happens? The
Blessed love to everyone. We are going to speak about tigers.
Understand.
Now, the tiger.
Now, we know a lot about tigers, hummingbirds, the elephant, the eye, all of these. The video is embedded in the book. You understand? Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Messiah Garvey was born on the 17th of August, 1887, in St. Ann's Bay, Jamaica. He was a charismatic black leader.
So the point is, so as the child enjoys the book or full enjoys the book, press the button and the book flips. You know, little baby, little whoever, they will definitely delight in the whole aspect of it, how it turns, how it flips on its own, well, with your assistance as well. Different subject area, lightning, penguins, you know, and so forth. So what it does, it keeps them occupied with good information, good knowledge. You understand?
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was born September the 21st, 1909. He was an African political leader. He was well known as the first prime minister, then president of an independent Ghana.
Ghana, we now have freedom. Yes, high life music, you call that royal family. Big up everyone in Ghana, Rastafari. So yes, basically family, and we are giving this to you, eh? So if you don't want to give it to your children, I ain't got no children, well, give it to yourself. You learn something too. You understand? And it's a flip book. It's designed in that way. So it flips, you know, and it makes it more entertaining, makes it more graphical. You know, the young ones, they delight in it. And, you know, it's all good. And keep in mind, a family, all you have to do is to, those of you who will be making your contribution this evening, yes, those of you who will be making your contribution this evening, no matter what it is, even if you contribute $1 million, we still will be sending you the book. If you contribute $5, we still will be sending you the book. Now, I want to say this before we return to the lecture, that your contribution this evening, we're going to balance it off with the Tiger's Nest audio radio program that we do. Tiger's Nest is a program that goes internationally, and as much as it is recorded, which is every evening, Monday to Thursday, we're going to send you a copy of the Tiger's Nest to balance your contribution. So in other words, if you contribute $20, some of you, I'm sure, would have already sent your $20 and your $50 by now. We will give you the value. You can look for this. The Tiger's Nest radio program will be coming to you via your email every night until the 20 or the 50 or the 150, which is a year's package, until that expires. You understand? So no matter if you think you're just giving us something for the lecture tonight, we're thankful for that. But no, we have to make sure that it goes beyond that. We have to give back to you even more than that, because that's what it is all about. So yes, Royal Family, once again, utilize the email, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. You can send us the PayPal, the Zelle, the Cashapp. You could also utilize other means and ways of the Western Union, MoneyGram, so forth and so fifth. And if you have any issues whatsoever as it relates to that, all you have to do is to contact us. Very good. priestisaacinstitute at gmail.com. We went through a lot. Those who may be just coming into this premiere, we are speaking about the presence, the African presence in Asia, talking about from Ethiopia to China and beyond, the history of blacks in Asia. Wonderful. And we have been highlighting the obvious: the Shang Dynasty, the Zhou Dynasty, the Xia Dynasty, the Yellow River. That's where most people begin. And it's a good place to start, for conversation's sake. But I think we went beyond that to show that for sure that obviously history highlights that just the whole gene pool of the Chinese and the Oriental people comes from an African stock. But before we got so scientific, we were enjoying the murals and the statues in the caves and in Yulin and Mogoi, and the paintings on the walls of some of the grottos, where you clearly see not just black people or the dark brown people, but other people with them. Similar features, but slightly different complexion. Just reality, showing you the reality of the time. And we also took the time to bring you a bit up to speed as it relates to modern day time, the 18th, 19th century, where you could clearly see the African stock amongst the Oriental people. We took time to highlight the pyramids, some of the mounds or pyramidal structure which they recognize, and some that they pretend are just mountains. But again, science would have proven that there are more pyramids there in ancient China than they want us to believe. And this is why we highlighted even the Zok, the Nok, the Nok kingdom, and connected them to the terracotta statues that were found even in China. All right, and of course we went through the whole aspect of the Shang and the Songhai and the Nigerian people, the Shanga people, the different words that align with each other, so forth and so forth. All right, let's move on now. Okay, now what I would like to do here, we are going to highlight the San people. So many of us, again, we usually begin here. Let me read this first of all. The San tribe has been living in southern Africa for at least 30,000 years. And they are believed to be not only the oldest African tribe, and arguably the world's most ancient race. The San have the most diverse and distinct DNA than any other indigenous African group. The San people are the oldest known identifiable genetically distinct human population. They are very much older than the Chinese. It is believed that every human on Earth DNA with them. It is also said that the Chinese came from them. Now, that itself, one could consider that's just someone's opinion, which in reality, it was really from a post where someone was expressing themselves. But the expression that was given is well aligned with not just history, but as you would have begun to realize, even with science. So after really digging in to the scientific evidence, and I think before we move on, once again, let us just highlight again to the family the research of the professor himself, Jin Li from Fudan. He's now the professor at Fudan University. He heads the university, at least at the time when the article that we are highlighting was written. And again, for those who may be just coming in, you have to understand this very, very important as we look at the reality of what we are dealing with. It is showing us that there is a oneness when it comes to, here's the article, the Genographic Project again, which was launched in 2005. We highlighted that the project, the professor is the project's leading proponent of the model of recent African origin of modern human beings. All right, let us read this information also here for you. This is coming from Anacalypsis, pardon me, which was written by Godfrey Higgins. And he is saying in the 4th chapter, book 1, highlighting the two ancient Ethiopians, great black nation in Asia, the Buddha of India and Negro, the Arabian were Cushites, Memnon is really the Greek god, but it's really Amenhotep III, shepherd kings, the Hyksos, all of these people are black people, he's highlighted. Hindus and Egyptians, similar. Syria people from India. And he says here in this paragraph, it was the opinion of Sir William Jones that a great nation of blacks formerly possessed the dominion of Asia and held the seat of empire in Sidon. Sidon, biblically speaking, Elam, all of these places here. These must have been the people called by Mr. Morris Cushites or Kutites, described in Genesis. And the opinion that they were blacks is corroborated by the translators of the Pentateuch, called the 70, constantly rendering the word Cush by Ethiopia and the 70 Septuagint. It is very certain that if this opinion be well founded, we must go for the time when this empire flourished to a period anterior to all our regular histories. It can only be known to have existed from accidental circumstances which have escaped amidst the ruins of empires and the wrecks of time. Ruins of Empires. That's a beautiful book as well that was written by Sister, the name is right there on my tongue, or Dunsley it is, but anyway, I will get it. So anyway, let us understand what we are reading here. This is very, very important information for us to follow, and this is why we are saying to the royal family that we need to really study our information. Now, in fact, I think Ruins of Empire is Vonley. No. It's Count Vonley, I think, that wrote The Ruins of Empire. Someone could put that information for me in the chat just to verify. But there was a book written by a sister, a very prominent book. Is it Ethiopian, the Ethiopians, or that is Massey? But anyway, let's move on with the subject area. So it's obvious again, we cannot deny, you can see that there is an obvious connection with the San people, without a doubt, and the people of the Oriental world. You can just look at them. Even the Nelson Mandela look and the Barack Obama look when he's laughing. In fact, I think he spent some time not only in Hawaii, but if I'm not mistaken, Indonesia. But again, stand corrected. So you look at the San people, they definitely stand out. And we can obviously see that, they have a connection with the Oriental people just by their obvious features. And history again shows that they also would have migrated to that part of the world. Then now you have the Funisi people. Now, who are the Funisi people? The Funisi people refers to the population of the ancient Funan, or the Funansi people, the ancient Funan kingdom. But the original Funisi or Funansi people are not necessarily the people that are there now. Funansi people are the Anansi people. Listen to me. The Funansi people are the Anansi people. So many people suggest the theory that they're Khmer or Kham or Astro-Asiatic or Astro-No-Asian and etc., etc. But again, the people from Funan is not Africa, you know. Again, we're in the Oriental world. But the original people, the Funansi people, or even as they were called in the Chinese world, the Funisi people, these Funisi people or Funansi people were considered to be short, black, with woolly hair. So, who are these short, black people with woolly hair that we call the people of the Funan? So Funan got the name because the Funisi people named it Funan, and there you get the term the Funansi people, which is now a term used for the vast majority of people in the region. But the original people are the Twa people. The original people are the what you call the Pygmies, the people of Pata. This is why you see them now in their oriental habitat. Black people with the black, literal black hair, and still amongst them, people of similar complexion, but you can see the slight difference even in their hair structure. And again, that region of the world is like a perfect example to show us the evolution from one to another. And that is just my outlook of it. These are the Funansi people. These are the Funansi people. Again, these pictures were not taken in Africa. These are 18th century photographs in the Oriental world. And we all, you know, some of us have been to Hawaii and Fiji Islands, and you see dark people with the afro. No curl, no long hair, nothing, like the literal black fist in the ear afro, you know. The Funansi people, again, these are them. These are the people from that ancient kingdom and from the same Khmer people, the same Vietnamese people. All of these people could be labeled as that. But where's the origin? The same Funansi is the same Funisi. It is the same Pygmies, according to the definition of the Chinese people. I really want you to follow where we're going here. Black people, royal family. African stock. And again, if you take your time, you can see the evolution. Rastaman, you know. So you can see these woolly headed Chinese here. Dark people. Just take a look at that. Meditate on that, and where did they come from? Locks people, some thick locks too. Watch this one behind here. Yeah, and these are Chinese, what you may consider original Chinese. And then you have another level of migration, or at least visitation. For example, Bodhidharma, who is considered to be the father of martial art as you know it, Kung Fu. And it was Bodhidharma who brought the art of Kung Fu to the Chinese people, which they would have preserved up until today. But just as what we read said earlier, that the migration came through Iran, it also came through Iraq and that whole Indus region there. But Bodhidharma came from India. Bodhidharma may be an individual you would consider to be a Dravidian, the untouchables. Here he goes. But he's considered to be a god in the Chinese world. Yeah, he's untouchable because you can't touch him because he's God, not because he's being scorned. Again, he came and he brought the order of karate to the Chinese, and Kung Fu, Kung Fu, to the Chinese. And then again, when you observe again the Japanese karate, Even these terms are African terms, karate. Cities in ancient Kush, karate. And then the Japanese step gardens that have become world famous. But the Japanese step gardens originated right here in Ethiopia. I would have seen the step gardens, Rasta. So you go to even Konso and these different places where they really are pronounced. The step terraces, step gardens were taken from here. And the civilization of Japan would have utilized such technology of the time to heighten their civilization. Again, the whole aspect of the step gardens that you have right here in Ethiopia. Again, the heads of the in Cambodia, Angkor Thom, Angkor Wat, and Angkor in general. You see the faces again of the African and how they are connected, and even the way they wear their earrings and other patterns of beauty, you can see comes from one source. And family, there's nothing at all about that to be ashamed of. In fact, we should be proud to understand that our history is a marvelous history that can be traced way um, all around the world, really, so that you can identify that we exist in all spaces, in all times. Then we can go to Europe. We're going to do a whole lecture on that as it highlights the Black civilization in Europe. Now, you may say, oh, well, we know that one. That's the Moors, and they went to Cordoba. Again, I understand. But remember what we said when we began this lecture here, the Black presence in China. Oh, we know about that. That's the first emperor of China, and the Shang Dynasty, and the San people are the first Chinese, full stop. It's obviously, as you would have seen, much, much, much more than that. So, royal family, I give thanks. I know I would have taken up a lot of your time. I really hope and pray that even this reasoning, um, um, this presentation this evening would have been a strength to you. You know, the little ones, I hope, would have sat in and observed this. And again, as we mentioned, the little ones, let me remind you one more time. When you contribute, make your contribution to this specific lecture. As I said, this is a fundraiser event, and this is a online official lecture. And it's necessarily, you don't have to necessarily pay. It's free. But again, we are opening the door for those of you who understand the mission. And of course, within your own heart, you know the value. Let me repeat, within your own heart, you know the value of not just what has been presented tonight, but the value of what is done in general by all that we represent. So those who would have already made the contribution and those who are making your contribution as we speak, I'm very thankful. And even those who will in the morning, it's all right. I'm very thankful as well. But again, let me highlight to you that when you make your contribution, I want you to know what you're getting, man. When you make your contribution, for sure, we will be sending you a copy of my first little tiger talking book. You understand? And as you can see, it has been designed. This is what we do, eh? Family, as a people, as a people, we should be a bit more innovative. Myself, you can obviously see, I have a love for the generations coming. You know, everyone needs to have the opportunity to get their eyes and their minds open. And we bring ones into the world, even those of us as conscious people and Rastafari and so forth and so forth. And we know for sure that we bring them into a system that is designed to even take them away from us. You better believe it, for sure. So this is why we try our best to create a curriculum, as you know, That's why we have the International Homeschool Program. This is why we try our best to create courses. That's why we have the online ancient astronomy course. We try our best to create not a syllabus really, but educational techniques that would, the children would gravitate to. The children would love and full joy and even ask for more. So this book itself, as you can see, it has been designed and very applicable to your tablets and to your smartphones and even to your laptops. The little child can just come and again press the button and the book opens and the book will begin to talk to the child, literally speak to the child in good language and highlight the hummingbird and highlight the penguin and highlight the pyramids and highlight the elephant and highlight Marcus Garvey and highlight lightning and highlight thunder and highlight, I don't think thunder is in it, and highlight the penguins and highlight Kwame Nkrumah. All of that is in this one book. And in a sense, it's free with your contribution towards this lecture tonight. And keep in mind that the contribution is up to you. If it's $1 million, you're still getting the one book. If it's $5, we will still send you the one book and let the young ones go through it. Believe me, they will love it. Now, keep in mind, when you make the $20 donation, which is really a good price for a lecture family. I mean, honestly, if I'm going to send someone something for a lecture of this magnitude, I cannot see, unless things are real bad. I cannot see I'm sending less than $20. But for sure, we're going to balance that. You'd have to say, listen, priest, don't send me no tiger's nest. Just take the money and go. Okay, fair enough. But if you don't say anything, we will be sending you the tiger's nest that values the contribution that you make tonight. I hope you understand that. So if you use 20, that's a month's worth of the tiger's nest. 40 is 2 months, but we have a 6 month and we have a 1 year package. I think the 6 months package is $100. So if you send 100, you get the 6 months package, and the full year's package is $150. So you send that, you get the full year's package. All right, family, I think that is it. Keep in mind, you can utilize PayPal, Zelle, Cashapp, and even Western Union, MoneyGram. You may have to email me and tell me you want to use MoneyGram or Western Union, and we'll give you all the details as it relates to that. Beautiful. All right, family. Oh, yes, and remember, we have extended the 50% offer. I know deadline now. The 50% offer for the upcoming Ethiopian Christmas tour. Those who have reached out that I have not recontacted, Brother Moses, Aaron, give thanks for all the love. I'll be getting to you right now. And for sure, again, outside of the 50% off, all you have to do is make a 50% down payment and prepare yourself for another wonderful tour to Ethiopia. Very beautiful. priestisaacinstitute at gmail.com. Royal family, if you know your Bible, I love this picture here. This one here is ridiculous. I'm telling you, I love this picture here. Yes, beautiful, isn't it? Royal family, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And of course, it takes some real eyes to realize them real lies that are around us. Enough of that is around us. Family, keep strong. Give thanks for your presence. And I appreciate of all those who would have already contributed to such a presentation tonight. Life giver and the keeper of life. Holy Emmanuel I. Selassie I. Jah Rastafari. Give thanks. All the links are in the description. Blessed love. Give thanks, royal family. Rastafari live forevermore.
Join us in Ethiopia for the African birthday of Christ from December the 29th, 2025 to January the 7th, 2026. A 10-day tour of Addis Ababa, Shashamane, Sidamo, its sulfur baths, and the majestic waterfalls of the south, plus the Battle of Adwa Memorial Museum, the palaces of Haile Selassie I and the great Menelik II, and much, much more will be added to this. Take advantage of our 50% discount until the 1st of October. Purchase your package for the remarkable price of only $1,200. Listen to this. All inclusive means your transportation, your accommodation, your security, and so forth. Again, the 50% offer will last until the 1st of October. To purchase your package or just to receive more information, email us at priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com and you will get more information as it relates to the bonus tour to Lalibela, Ethiopia, the land of origins. See you there.
Advertise with the Ambassador's Pen and get your message heard all over the world. The Ambassador's Pen is the fastest growing diplomatic magazine on the planet, with subscribers and readers internationally. Constant marketing, daily promotion will ensure that your products and services get the best attention for your dollar. Starting from only $100. Yes, you can advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. Get a half page, get a full page, or even a spread. We can embed your video into the digital magazine. Do you want your business to be recognized internationally? Advertise with the Ambassador's Pen. For more information, email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. The Ambassador's Pen. Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of archaeoastronomy from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered
by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website, priestisaacinstitute.com, or email us, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com for more information.